Good evening and welcome to Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. It's the McKinney Lions taking on the Newman Smith Trojans here in Carrollton, Texas. It ought to be a great game tonight. Right now it is September 9th, 2005. The last time the Newman Smith Trojans won a football game, it was October 17th, 2003. Lots of things have happened with the Newman Smith Trojans. Last year, their head coach, Mark Copeland, is now somewhere in Arkansas selling insurance. They have a brand new head coach in Bobby Bounds. His first year, he was a former Arena Football League quarterback, and now he is the head captain over here at Newman Smith. Newman Smith has had actually one winning season since 1986. That's 19 years. Not a big winning tradition over here at all. McKinney, on the flip side, has had years and years of history of winning football games, and it's kind of what's going to happen tonight. Is history going to unfold? Is it going to be the powerhouse versus the not so much? Or what's going to happen tonight, Brandon?
Well, there's a lot of things you can look at when trying to figure out who's going to win this game, but I think the key thing you got to look at is defense. You start off with McKinney's defense. Last week they only gave up 390 total yards, which a little more than they would like to, so they're going to have to get that. Of course, that's facing Wiley, which is a decent team in their own right. However, only 173 yards on the ground. They did give up over that 200 yards. And in high school, that's about what you want to keep your opponent under, is 200 total yards of rushing. But they give up 217 in passing. Now, Newman Smith, not going to be a big passing offense. They've only completed 25 passes all year. However, if you can keep both of those numbers, keep them around maybe 350 total yards, that's going to be the key for McKinney, because they're going to put some offensive yards on their own right. One
of the keys for the Newman Smith Trojans is their 6 foot, 205-pound senior tailback, Sterling Inslee. He basically is their ball club. He has 22 carries and 239 yards on the season, 1 touchdown. He's also caught 5 passes for 3 yards. He's the focus or the focal point of their offense behind quarterback Adam Jones. Now, Jones is 22 for 48. He has thrown 4 interceptions on the season, 228 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. The 6'3", 195-pound Jones is someone you're going to have to deal with tonight.
Well, he's being recruited already by college scouts because of his ability just to make things happen. He's probably going to be one of those high school quarterbacks who's going to move on to the next rank at another position because he doesn't have the accuracy you need to be a college quarterback. But anytime you have a quarterback that can do something, that's you got to watch out for, because you can have every man covered and he not have anything but a small hole, and all of a sudden there's a big game. So those two that you mentioned, Inslee and then Adam Jones, the quarterback, you're going to have – those two are your keys. If you can stop those two, you have a good chance of stopping this offense.
Another key in this football game tonight is the Lion defense. I think you talked about it momentarily. Last year, the Lions' turnover ratio, they were a plus 20. That was huge for their team to basically make the playoffs because of their defense. That plus 20 was a huge number. This year, not so much. -2 in the turnover department. That's going to have to turn around if McKinney's going to have success throughout this season.
Well, and that they've played 2 good teams in Western Hills to open the season, and Wiley last year. So, you're never going to be happy with a -2. That's almost not something to be too ashamed of. You'd like to be in the 0 to 1 category after facing those 2 kind of teams. But with that said, that's the time where you just got to basically step it up. This is your last game before district. Try to make things happen.
Well, we're going to kick it down to Teddy Saffo on the sidelines. He has some information regarding Standridge Stadium. Teddy, what do you got?
Well, Monty, Standridge Stadium is a remarkable facility. In fact, it used to be known as the Carrollton Farmers Branch Stadium. It was built back in 1963. At the time, it only hosted games for Arlo Turner, and it had only 10,000 seats at this stadium. But since then, in 1976, it was renamed to the Tommy Standridge Stadium in honor, of course, Tommy Standridge, who was an outstanding community leader, and also he was very involved with the youth. In 1993, though, the stadium was remodeled with the old AstroTurf surface, but since then been long removed because, well, there have been quite a few injuries on this field. But in August, though, Standridge Stadium unveiled its brand new AstroPlay surface. And since then, now the stadium seats about 13,000 people and hosts games for R.L. Turner, Newman Smith, and all the Creekview high schools. So hopefully let's see if this new surface serves well for the McKinney Lions tonight. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Sappho. You know, he did mention the fact that they had the brand new surface down, the Astro Play. They ripped it up. They ripped up the old carpet last year. One of the main reasons is because one of the kids from R.L. Turner actually broke his neck last year on this surface, and they thought, well, it's time to finally get rid of that old AstroTurf and invest in something that's going to be more healthy for the kids, and they did that.
Not sure it's the turf that caused a broken neck, but you never know what happened right before that broken neck happened. You know, those type of surfaces are known for just grabbing shoes and not letting go, and so those fields are definitely not safer than what's on the field now. It's the new high school stadium surfaces basically that you're going to see just about everywhere. 4 games we've done now this year. This is the 3rd one to have that artificial surface with the rubber granules and then the natural feeling type grass that's not looped like it is on that AstroTurf that causes all the injuries.
You know, and going back to the broken neck story about the kid from R.L. Turner last year, that can happen on grass, as you mentioned, because I was unfortunate enough, I guess, to see Trinell Walker from Sherman back in 1995 undergo something like that. It was absolutely incredible, and our hearts and prayers still go out to Trinell. He's a wonderful young man in Sherman, Texas, and we sure think a lot about him and hope that he's still doing okay 10 years later. Back to the game, and matter of fact, we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to talk to J.D. Dowling and Brett Anderson. This is a senior spotlight that you don't want to miss. So listen to the Sam's Club Senior Spotlight. We'll be back in a moment with McKinney Lions football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Sappho. Teddy is down on the field. Brandon, let's talk about this football game a little bit more. I want to still say Mesquite Poteet, but Newman Smith comes out tonight on their home field, which they share with 3 other schools. But they came out earlier and did some warm-ups. Now they're in the back of their end zone. I would say they kind of look like Baylor a little bit, but a little bit brighter than Baylor.
Yeah, and unfortunately they've got those sweeping numbers too. So it's not the standard numbers. It's kind of just a palette of the sweeping numerals. So like it's got the 7, and instead of any sharp turns or corners, it's all nice and archy, and so very hard to read from up here.
Archy, I like that.
And so it's going to be very difficult. We have been blessed so far this season. Through 3 games, we had 3 teams that were easily to see numbers from a press box setting, but we're going to have struggles tonight with Newman Smith.
Just imagine the numerals on their jerseys being kind of like the Toronto Blue Jays on steroids. They're just huge. They're curly Q type numbers. And of course, McKinney in their brand new uniforms that they got this year, as Newman Smith comes out on the field. They don't have a run through. They just have some guys carrying a flag, leading the charge with the flag NSHS, Newman Smith High School. And McKinney actually has the big blue helmet that they will run out of momentarily. We will have the coin toss in just a second, but we'll wait until McKinney gets out on the field. McKinney comes out in their white as they now approach the sidelines. They have their brand new white jerseys, block blue letters, or blue numbers actually, outlined in gold. They have gold underneath their armpit down to their hip, just underneath their the side there, and it connects to the pants, the deep blue navy pants with the gold stripe that comes directly from the shirt, and the dark blue navy helmet with the block M, which Michigan uses.
Very easy to see numbers. We appreciate the home team for the broadcast giving us announcers nice, easy to see numbers.
The captains for Newman Smith are out at the 50-yard line. Richard Council is one. Derek Cosper, another, coming out as well. And here are those numbers again. This one is Ricky Johnson. And we'll also have Jesse Funk. Now, Jesse Funk is a stud basically on their defensive front, 6'4", 275-pound senior. And he can really play. Also up there as one of the captains is the quarterback, Adam Jones.
Odd to see a junior as one of the captains. Usually that's assigned for seniors, but I think that illustrates just how much he means to this team.
When we do the offensive starting lineup for Newman Smith, you'll notice a familiar name in the area. His name is Nick Posderick. And yes, Nick Posderick is the son of Phil Posderick, the former Dallas Cowboy who was known for his holding calls on Tony Dorsett runs in the Meadowlands. But McKinney is jumping up and down, and they will run through on the far side. This stadium runs north and south. We're on the west side. The Dallas skyline is vaguely to our right, about 2 o'clock. You can barely see it for the haze in the air, but the Dallas skyline is there. It's a beautiful place to watch a game. And the captains will come out for McKinney now, as we're awaiting the coin toss. Teddy Sappho, again, will be present for the coin toss. You'll be able to hear what's going on down on the field.
Keith Geringer, principal of McKinney High School, Donna Roeder, and the superintendent, Dr. Tom Crow.
The captains for McKinney, Brandon Ogletree is one. J.D. Dowling standing to his left, along with Jared Thompson, the offensive lineman. Also up there is Kevin Holler. Chris Holler, his twin brother, and also Adonis Graham. And coming out is Ryan Packard. Let's check down with Teddy Sappho and see what he has for us during the coin toss.
Stand up here. Where's your flag? All right, let's all turn towards your flag. Shake hands.
And we will have that national anthem right after the coin toss.
Captains, shake hands.
Nice to meet you, Ron Tiger. Ron Tiger. Ron Tiger.
The captains for both teams meeting in midfield for the coin toss.
Home team got a $50. Kennedy half. Heads here. Tails. I have heads. I have tails. I'm going to ask you to call the toss before I toss it.
For the Trojans, number 1, Richard Council.
If I drop it, I'll retoss it.
Number 6, Derek Copper.
It is heads. You won the toss.
Would like to receive.
Very good. Which end would you like to defend?
Black.
Very good. Green, I want you on this line, facing the clock. White, line up across.
All right, guys, you heard it right there. Newman Smith won the toss. Thanks, Teddy Sappho, down at the 50-yard line. Newman Smith won the toss. They elected to receive. They will receive and defend the north goal. They will be traveling left to right for us, heading towards that south end zone. McKinney will be moving right to left, moving towards their home city of McKinney.
Yeah, and the thing about the defending of the sides tonight, wind's not going to play too big an issue. It's blowing slight from the southeast to the northwest, but very slight.
We will have the national anthem coming up. Well, actually, they're getting into it right now. We'll take a quick timeout and be back in a moment with more McKinney Lions football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Standridge Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Sappho. This is the McKinney Lions versus the Newman Smith Trojans. And, you know, nobody expected McKinney to come in here 0-2. I know McKinney didn't expect themselves to come in 0-2. What are they going to have to do to win tonight, Brandon?
Play solid football, no turnovers. Ground out the ball on the ground through the running game, and then defensively not let Inslee or Jones make any big plays for Newman Smith. And if you can do that, they should be fine. And I don't see any reason why they won't at this point. Newman Smith doesn't have, I don't know, watching pregame, watching the warm-up, they just don't have a lot of sharp crispness to their offense.
Last week, Newman Smith gave up 219 yards rushing to Greenville. So you might see a heavy dose of Chris Wimbish tonight.
Greenville put up 43 points on Smith last week, and with that 15-game losing streak, until you do something to impress me, I think McKinney should have an easy time tonight.
Going back deep for the Trojans of Newman Smith will be Mariko Miles, George Rose, and Floyd Burdine. To kick off for McKinney will be Patrick Kleineberg. And Kleineberg will tee it up at the 40-yard line. Back deep. They'll send Rose up a little bit further up the front and send Miles and Burdine back standing at about the 2-foot line. As Kleineberg, we'll see if they break out of the. Yeah, they do break out. I thought they were going to fake it, but they do break out, and Kleineberg will be standing at the 30-yard line, a 10-yard jaunt to the football. We're awaiting the Beef O'Brady's kickoff, and Kleineberg boots it high. Not a deep kick, but it lands at the 14-yard line, rolls a little bit. It's going to be taken up by an up man. That is on the return, Burdine, who gets across the 30-yard line to the 31. And McKinney says they have the football as they are celebrating a little bit. No signal or no indication yet. McKinney football!
Oh, my.
McKinney has recovered the opening kickoff. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line in Newman Smith territory, and that's the way you start this game.
That was just a weird sequence of events there. Number one, the kickoff was short. Number two, it died when it hit the ground. Number three, an up-back picked it up. Number four, the up-back actually broke through most of the line, then was tackled at the 30. And then number five, he fumbled and McKinney recovered. You'll rarely will see that sequence happen in any other game.
They will move the ball north just a tad bit, so it'll actually be at the 31-yard line. 1st and 10, 11:53 to go in the first. We're just underway, no score. McKinney has the ball. Shotgun formation will go Ben Martinek, the quarterback, sends a man in motion, running from the right to left. Option out. Chris Wimbish cuts it back inside. He's going to struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't do it. He's down at the 32, lost a yard.
I think you got to hold on to the ball just a hair longer if you're Martinek, because at that point he pitched it. Newman Smith knew right where to go. They went to him, and he had to juke 3 people. Now, if Martinek holds that, the couple of defenders key on him, and then Wimbish is able to run 3, maybe have to break 1 tackle.
Right after this play, we will give you the McKinney Lions starting offense. It is 2nd down and a long 11, possibly even 12, as we look. Here's split out wide, Michael Peters. 2 men in the backfield, and this is going to be a handoff. Wimbish running right tackle. Has a little bit of a seam and gets across the 30 down to the 28-yard line. Here's your McKinney Lions starting offense. Into the football game is Zane Alcorn. He is a setback. He's not at quarterback. We heard Coach McVay talk Wednesday night during the coaches show. Is they're going to call a timeout here. A little bit of confusion on McKinney's side. We're going to take one too. Back in a moment with McKinney High football on K-Lake FM. Martinek on 3rd down, threw it out left side, incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, and we will see what they elect to do here, whether it's punting time or this is a very long field goal. They're going to try the field goal. It'll be 41 yards, or actually 46 yards from the middle of the field. Kleineberg on. The snap is back. The hold is good. The kick is very short. It's going to land about 5 yards deep in the end zone. A very short kick. So the ball will go over on downs after the missed field goal, and Newman Smith will take over.
Yeah, not much you can do there. It'd been about 42 yards or so. Halfway through the end zone, I think you'll take that as McKinney. But unfortunately, you get a fumble recovery on your first possession, and you're not able to do anything with it. So basically, Newman Smith is going to take over at the 29-yard line instead of the 31 on their first possession, just like they would if they'd have taken the kickoff.
1st and 10, and Jones will hand off to a man coming across the middle, wants to throw it deep. This is the halfback pass. He has a man, and it's caught and dropped. It was a beautiful play out there on, it was Mariko Miles, the wide receiver, but it was Floyd Burdine coming across, trying to throw it down there, the halfback pass. What a beautiful call on 1st down to open up the very first play of your offense, and it would have worked if Miles could have hung on to it.
Actually, that was George Rose throwing the pass, and he's done that once this year already for a 21-yard touchdown, and that would have been about an 82-yard touchdown or whatever had that ball been caught, because he had 3 steps behind the entire McKinney defense, so the Lions catch a break there.
2nd down and 10, and man goes in motion again. This is a crossbuck, handoff, left tackle, and he crosses the 35-yard line to the 37. And that will be Sterling Inslee on the carry, gain of about 7, close to 8 yards on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and short. Inslee is having some helmet issues as he is standing there looks like he's trying to put his ear pads in. I don't see an official timeout yet. The clock is still winding down. The play clock is at 8. Inslee just now puts his helmet on, and now officials call timeout. It will be a timeout for Newman Smith. We'll keep it right here.
So both teams have now burned a timeout to open the game, and there's not even 2.5 minutes gone by.
Well, the reason they had to call that timeout was because of Sterling Inslee's equipment. And with 9:38 left to go here in the first quarter, no score at Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it worth having Inslee in there for a 3rd and 2 if you're going to burn a timeout early in the game? That's the question you got to weigh as a coach, in which case you should have your backup ready to go for Inslee. That'd be Deidre Perkins, who's rushed the ball 8 times already this year, so he has some game experience in this 2005 football season. So I'm wondering maybe they should have put him in there because you save a timeout.
Well, Inslee has 1 carry and 8 yards tonight. That puts him over 240 for the season.
Well, Perkins has 48 yards on 8 carries, so he probably would have gotten the 2.
3rd down and short, hands off Sterling Inslee up the middle. He's going to be very close. McKinney might have stopped him at the line of scrimmage. Brandon Ogletree stops him, but we'll have to see where the spot is. And I'm going to tell you, I think he's a little bit short.
Yeah, it looks like both the line officials there have the ball spotted at about the 37 or so. And if that's the case, which it is now official, it's about 1.5 yards short.
Let's check down with Teddy Saffo. Teddy, I think you had a good look at that one. It was a great hit, wasn't it?
They were short by about 2 yards, and now they're getting ready to punt the ball away to the McKinney Lions. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Teddy Saffo. It will be 4th down and short. This is going to be a fake up the middle, and McKinney got caught napping, I believe, and it will be a 1st down. They snapped it back to the little H-back back there. It is Alex Jewell, the 6', 195-pound linebacker. He was back there as the kind of the QB of the punt formation. They snapped it back to him, and he ran across left guard and picked up the 1st down.
Well, the thing is about disappointing on that 4-yard gain was there were 3 McKinney Lion defenders who hit him before he got to the 1st down marker, and you don't expect the linebacker to make moves like that, but he did and got the 1st down.
It'll be 1st and 10. Adam Jones, shotgun formation, looking left side, throws it out to Rose, and that's going to be caught and gain of about 3 yards. That's not Rose, however. That's going to be Richard Council on the catch. And Council came in with 6 receptions for 143 yards and a touch so far this year. He is their main weapon on offense, receiving the ball wise.
Well, and that's actually also Adam Jones out of the game for this play, and the last play too. Derek Cosper throw that pass. He's got such a weird throwing motion. I'll describe it after this play.
2nd down and 8, as it is Cosper in at quarterback in shotgun formation, 2 receivers either side. He will hand off to Inslee up the middle, gaining ground, crossing the 45 to the 46-yard line, still 5 yards short of a 1st. It'll be 3rd down.
A gain of 3, but back to Cosper. He basically reaches down behind himself when he's winding up behind himself, has the ball down near his butt area, and then just reaches out and shot puts it, and he seems to have some accuracy with it. Boy, it's just a very weird throwing motion if you're watching. It's just something you don't see very often. Miles
and Gilbert split out wide, and this is going to be Cosper rolling right. Great block from his H-back, and it's going to be intercepted at the 34-yard line. Eddie Morgan intercepts it and brings it back to the 41, and his receiver just fell down. Eddie Morgan was right there.
Yeah, and I think the receiver fell down because he was initially just running about a 10-yard stop, and Cosper was expecting a fade down the sideline, so that set up Eddie very nicely for that interception.
Eddie Morgan, the junior, 6', 170-pounder, just played center field on that play, and McKinney will take over.
And right now the head coach for Newman Smith, Bobby Bounds, giving his quarterback an earful. Of course, the backup quarterback for Newman Smith is one of the starting outside linebackers.
Here is Martinek in at quarterback, has Chris Wimbish standing to his left side, 3 receivers to the right, 1st and 10, handoff Wimbish, running right tackle. No, he's going to keep it. No, Wimbish has it, crosses the 45 to the 46, and that was a great fake by Martinek, as I thought for a second that Wimbish had it, and then I thought for a second that Martinek had it and was running the bootleg. And then Wimbush squirted his way through for about 5 yards.
Yeah, he has the habit of doing that. He's a little guy, so he can find those holes. You know, a lot of people said Newman Smith was too small before going into the NFL, but his smallness allows him to find holes that bigger guys just can't get through or get to. And once he did that, it was a foot race for 5 yards.
Chris Zilmer split out wide left. This is a shotgun formation. Martinek looking right side. The only receiver over there is Fuller, and it is on the money and dropped at the 21-yard line. Fuller had it right in his breadbasket, but couldn't come down with it. It was pretty good coverage on the far side, but that'll bring up third down.
Well, Martinek put it right where he needed to. Martinek's 9 of 16 on the year, but Fuller's not been a recipient of a Martinek reception, or a Martinek completion rather, and maybe that's the reason why, because he had it in his hands down the sideline.
Same formation with Zilmer, Sweeney, and Michael Peters left, and Jeff Fuller to the right side. Playing tight, now backs off of Fuller. Shotgun formation. Wimbush standing to the left. He's going to get the carry. He's going to go up the middle. He has a big room, big hole actually, and crosses for first down yardage to the 45-yard line in Newman Smith territory. There for a second, I thought he was going to go as he really found a seam, and really a saving tackle by the safety out there, Ricky Jordan.
Yeah, he doesn't make that by the ankles, and Wimbush is gone for a nice 50-yard touchdown. However, you'll take a 10-yard gain in the first down.
Two receivers to either side. Jeff Fuller moves over to the near side. Again, McKinney moving right to left. Michael Peters split out wide right. Ben Martinek, shotgun formation. Wimbush moves over to the left side of him, about a yard behind him. And this time Martinek's wanting to throw it, a lot of pressure, and he is sacked by Jesse Funk back at his own 45-yard line. They're actually going to mark him, I think, at about the 48. But Jesse Funk brings a load at 6'4", 275 pounds.
Well, he just came barreling through the interior, and there no one was able to impede his progress. Basically, when Martinek in the shotgun took his two-step drop, he had Funk in his face. There was nothing Martinek could do. That's just a great play by the defensive tackle there.
It will be second down and a truckload here. Second down and about 20. And Martinek's going to throw the in route, and it got a great block. Michael Peters caught it, crosses the 50, and still going to be about 13 yards short of the first. It'll be third and about 13. Michael Peters came in on the swing pass, cut it back inside, got a nice block, but I don't think he read it very well. I think if he'd have stayed outside, he might have had more running room, but he cut it back in, and it is third down and 13.
Well, and that's the thing. When you've got a second and long, you basically just need yards. So while they'll be faced with a third and 14, getting 5 yards is not a bad thing in that scenario. As long as you move the ball forward, you're going to be okay. But right now tonight, McKinney is 1 for 2 on the third down conversions, but they haven't faced the third and 14 yet.
Ball at the 48-yard line in Newman Smith territory. Third and 13, whistles blow before the snap. We'll have to check and see what that is. And it came from the back judge. It came from the back judge, Jesse Ramon, and it probably is a delay of game, and I believe it is. So it'll be third down and even more. Third down and about 18 yards to go.
Well, the nice thing about it was we're under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and this is the first penalty flag we've seen, which is a stark contrast to last week.
Martinek will check off, and Zane Alcorn will now be in at quarterback. On comes Jeff Fuller in the wide receiver position. Chris Wimbush stands to the right of Alcorn, and Michael Peters is wide left. Play clock down to 11. Still some confusion on getting the play out. 6, 7, or actually 7, now 6, 5, 4. And the play clock is running down, and I don't know if they're going to get this one off. And Alcorn is actually going to boot this one away. It's a quick kick. Rolls down to the 20-yard line, still rolling. Inside the 15 is going to be marked dead at the 14-yard line. So the quick kick gets McKinney some great field position here and puts Newman Smith back deep in their own territory.
Well, your backup quarterback's also your punter. You're facing third 19. I like that call. That's a good call. Now you have Newman Smith pinned inside their own territory behind their 15. And no one was back there. That's a good call. You got the favorable bounce. I like that.
Ball will be at the 14-yard line. Newman Smith getting started here on first down. Again, Adam Jones not in the game at quarterback. This is going to be the backup quarterback Cosper rolling off right tackle, trying to rush his way for yardage, and gains out to about the 20-yard line, so we'll call it a 6-yard gain on first down.
And you got J.D. Dowling, the linebacker, making the tackle there, and that's a load to bring down. You look at his linebacker frame, 6'2", 220, and that's a quarterback rolling out of the pocket.
We haven't given you the defensive starters yet for McKinney, and we'll do that after this play. No score, 3:49 here in the first. Handoff. Sterling Inslee is met in the backfield. A great play by McKinney Lions, and they're going to mark him at the 15-yard line. Let's give you the McKinney Lions starting defense. On 3rd down and 9, quarterback Cosper rolls up the middle, has lots of room. He throws his big frame of 6'2", 220 around, picks up the first down after a nice gain all the way up to the 34-yard line. A great play by the quarterback, Brandon.
Well, they're facing 3rd and 8. He looks down, and initially I guess his first option wasn't open because he was looking downfield, but he didn't hold the ball very long, took it up the hold, and got a nice block to spring him for the first down.
1st and 10 for the Trojans as Cosper will roll right side once again. Has a lane, is met by Eddie Morgan at the 38-yard line. Both of them collide and bounce off of each other. And Cosper will go down right there at the 38-yard line. So a nice play to come up from his safety position by Eddie Morgan.
And that's the thing, Cosper's so hard to bring down. Morgan popped him, stopped his forward momentum, but didn't even come close to bringing him down on a hit that would probably drive most running backs into the ground, and this is your backup quarterback for Smith, the guy that just brings a load.
Adam Jones will now come in at quarterback as Cosper, I think he did get the wind knocked out of him a little bit as he's kind of shaken up on the sidelines. He's over there with his hands on his knees as Adam Jones comes back into the football game. 2 receivers to the left for Newman Smith, 1 over to the right. And far left is Gilbert, Brandon Gilbert. And apparently there is a penalty. And that will give Newman Smith a first down. Did you see what it was?
I didn't see a flag, and the referee hasn't motioned anything.
Well, they have moved the ball. It's going to rest at the 49-yard line.
Well, it'd be a 5-yard penalty, whichever it be. Oh, and there's another penalty coming in from the linesman.
As we have it right now, with 2:32 left to go in the first quarter, no score at Standard Stadium here in Carrollton, Texas, and now they're going to move it back.
Well, they just got an illegal procedure on Newman Smith, so whatever 5-yard penalty was gained. Apparently, yeah, it must have been something along the lines of a face mask because they moved the sticks along with the penalty, so instead of a 1st and 5, they had a 1st and 10, but now it's 1st and 15.
2 receivers to either side, and this is going to be a handoff. Nope, they're going to keep it flagged down as the quarterback Jones will go out to the 50-yard line, but a flag is thrown by the line judge, Dave Chop, way out there on the far side.
Well, it's a 6-yard carry as it stands, but this is usually along the lines of an offsides.
J.D. Dowling came up to make the stop, and we'll see what the
indeed offsides.
It is offsides. And so far, you know, it hasn't been a real sloppy game, but now the past couple of plays, you're thinking, well, what else is going to happen?
Well, on the clock, it read 4:59 when I said this has been a virtually penalty-free game, and now it's turning into 3 penalties in less than 3 minutes of game time for McKinney and 1 penalty for Newman Smith. But they're going to take the penalty over the Adam Jones carry, so instead of 2nd and 9, they're going to have a 1st and 10.
So the ball will be at the 49-yard line, barely in McKinney and Newman Smith territory. Adam Jones, the quarterback, again, he's in for Cosper, who went out after the Eddie Morgan hit near sidelines. 2 receivers to either side. 1st down and 10, basically. Flag down again. Handoff up the middle. Sterling Inslee is met right at the 50-yard line, which is the line of scrimmage, and he will go down immediately. Let's check the flag.
Well, I think it's going to be an illegal procedure. I believe Jones was going in motion before he took the snap as a quarterback. Nope, it's going to be offsides McKinney. I think Jones might have gotten away because he was on his way forward before he got the snap.
Well, they were moving backwards, they being Newman Smith on penalties, and now McKinney is actually letting Newman Smith get 1st down and 5 on their side of the field now as the ball comes up to the 46-yard line on 3 straight plays and 3 straight penalties. It'll be 1st and 5 from the McKinney 46. Shotgun formation for Adam Jones and 2 receivers to either side. Jones wants to throw out left side, fires it over, and it's caught at the 36-yard line and brought down at the 33. On the reception is Brandon Gilbert. And on the coverage over there on the far side was Ryan Packard. Gilbert kind of just came in on that Michael Irvin slant pattern. And Adam Jones playing Troy Aikman fired it right in there. It was a great pass. And tell you what, Jones showed flashes of a great arm there.
Well, he's got to be careful, though, because he was looking at his receiver the whole way. And if the defense starts to key on that, interceptions will come with a little more frequency.
1st and 10 from the McKinney 33-yard line. 1:10 left to go in the first quarter, no score. Adam Jones, shotgun formation. He's going to roll out right side, or actually run behind his right tackle, and he's going to gain 4 yards out to the 28 or so, and that's where he'll go down. Inside a minute now here in the first quarter.
A 4-yard gain on the first down. The coach likes those. And Jones is basically running until he gets hit and then falling down, and his line is just creating a nice hole for him to run through to begin the play.
Today, Ottawa in the football game. Of course, we had him listed on the 2-deep chart behind Adam Fairborn, who had moved to the right defensive end. Derek Clary started at right tackle, and there's a timeout on the field. We'll take 1-2 back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.
Thank you for your generosity.
Welcome back to Standard Stadium, Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. No score as McKinney and Newman Smith come back out on the field.
Well, prior to the timeout, Inslee's having helmet problems again. They tried to send in Perkins, but there's only 10 on the play clock, so that's why they had to burn another timeout.
2nd down and 6, handoff to his backup, and he's going to get a first down on the carry. For Newman Smith is Deidre Perkins, the 5'10", 190-pound junior, is not anywhere close to Inslee in size, but in speed he's very comparable as he picks up the first down.
Well, he got 9 yards on that carry, and Inslee's prior 4, he's got 4 in this game, only netted him 8. So Inslee's helmet problems is costing him 2 timeouts, and already the backup has more than Inslee does.
Under 10 seconds. Now we're at 6 seconds for the quarter. They'll probably just let it run out here as it gets down to 1 and now 0. That's the end of the first quarter. No score here at Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. We'll have more McKinney ISD football in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Carrollton, Texas at Standard Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms. No score, beginning of the second quarter. And now moving right to left is Newman Smith, and that's Adam Jones, the quarterback, rolling out left side behind his left tackle, tries to escape and does for a moment, gets out to the 12-yard line. He's a yard short of the first, I believe.
Yeah, about an 8-9 yard carry just by simply running out to the left side. And I'm telling you, the quarterback is somebody they have to watch. And when we were outside linebackers, Ogletree's making the tackle, 6-7 yards downfield, that line of Newman Smith's getting some push.
And right now it'll be 2nd down and 2. Newman Smith at the near hash. And this is going to be Jones. Handoff Sterling Inslee up the middle, and he is rumbling and bumbling his way to the end zone. And Newman Smith has put the first points on the board tonight. It is 6-0 on the 12-yard Sterling Inslee scamper to the end zone right up the middle.
Well, I was telling you during the break, Newman more than happy to run that clock down because that allowed Inslee's helmet problems to get fixed, to get him back in the game. And second play after the start of the quarter, Inslee takes 12 yards to the house and puts the first touchdown of the day up.
6-0 momentarily. We'll check out the PAT. And the kick is up to, it's very, very, very high, and it is good. 7-0. Newman Smith on top. Remember, they haven't won a football game in almost 2 years. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms. Sterling Inslee just scored on a 12-yard touchdown. It was a 9-play, 86-yard drive for the Newman Smith Trojans. They're on top here with 7-0 with 11:17 left to go in the second quarter as we approach the Beef O'Brady's kickoff.
Inslee, the star running back of this team, that's only his second touchdown of the year, despite playing 2 games and putting up 30 points last week. It's only a second trip into the end zone.
Clayton Teasdale, the man who booted it through for the extra point. He's now 6 out of 7 on extra points. He'll tee it up and boot it away here.
Expect a pooch kick.
This is a high, and it is a pooch kick. Going to be taken, and nope, it's going to go out of bounds, and McKinney has an option here.
That's just a smart decision on the return not to field that one.
Yeah, it was Devin Rhodes who was over in the vicinity, kind of looked at it and let it go out of bounds. A nice job of letting it go there. And we'll see what McKinney elects to do. They'll probably just, they take it on the penalty. Go ahead and make it first down here. I think the ball will actually go out to the 30-yard line.
I'd make him re-kick. The ball hit at about the 25.
The ball will rest on the 30-yard line. McKinney moving left to right here in the second quarter. Down by 7 to 0. 11-17 left to go in the second quarter. As McKinney will send 3 receivers out wide, and they're going to hand off Chris Wimbish, and he is met immediately in the backfield. He's going to lose some yardage as it goes back to the 26-yard line.
Wimbish not having a good day. He was up to 17 yards prior to that carry, but a loss of 3 will move that down to 14 yards on 5 carries. They really need him to do just a bit more, but that offensive line has got to prevent 3 green jerseys from being in the backfield by the time Wimbish receives the ball.
They will say second down and 13 from the 27. This is Martinek, back to pass, looking over, and he overthrows his receiver over there on the far side, Michael Peters, and he just led him just a little bit out of the backfield.
Well, and that's Martinek's 4th pass attempt of the day, and he only has 1 completion for 5 yards. So right now this McKinney offense is not looking good at all.
Brett Anderson will check in on third down. Jeff Fuller goes out, and Chris Zilmer will move out wide right. He'll be split wide, and on the far side, Michael Peters will go to the far side. And 2 men in the backfield. Anderson goes in motion from left to right. Shotgun formation for Martinek, who's going to pitch it out to Wimbish, who gets out to the line of scrimmage and gains a couple of yards over left tackle. It was just the old option pitch out, and right there, Newman Smith's cornerback played it very nice.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's a design play to have Wimbish take the pitch 2 yards into the backfield, but the problem by doing that is pitching it so early is now 3-4 Newman Smith defenders can key only on Wimbish. One of the things that makes the option so dangerous is you don't know who to take, because if you go quarterback, then he pitches it out, but if you go running back, he keeps it.
Well, it'll be a punt. It'll be a bouncer at the 42, and it'll be taken across the 40-41, and Eddie Morgan is right there and takes him down at the 41-yard line. And on the punt return for Newman Smith was George Rose. And Rose was met, he ran a lot, but he only ran laterally, and he wasn't able to escape Eddie Morgan.
Well, he took the ball at the 39.5 on the near hash mark and was tackled on the far numbers after gaining about a yard. That's the thing about that kick that Alcorn has. It's just a low liner, but he takes it so long and takes 2 steps out that gives his cover guys time to get down on the field.
It'll be first down for Newman Smith at their own 41-yard line. Handoff Sterling Inslee up the middle, and is finally going to be taken down by Casey Cooley, but not after he gains 5 yards, near the midfield stripe out to the 46.
Well, right now they're having a tough time stopping Inslee on these last couple of plays. At one point he had 4 carries for 8, but now he's up to 25 yards on those 6 carries. Of course, one of that was the 12-yard touchdown run.
Gilbert split out wide left. Miles split wide right. Shotgun. Adam Jones wants to throw out to Miles, and he completes the pass just short of the first down, and he's taken down immediately over there by Ryan Packard. The ball is going to be right at the 50, and I think that's going to be a little bit short. Let's check down with Teddy Saffo and see where that ball is going to be placed.
Third down, less than a yard, ball just down.
Placed at around the 31-yard line, and have about 1 yard to go. Let's see the McKinney defense can stop them.
Well, actually, it will be placed at the 49, and this is going to be a toss sweep right side. Adam Jones trying to do it himself. That is going to be very close, but I believe he got enough for the first down as he crosses to about the 48-yard line. They'll go ahead and move the sticks. It'll be 1st and 10 in McKinney territory.
Needed half a yard, and it got about 1.25 yards. Move the sticks no matter how you measure it. And right now, I'm telling you, McKinney just seems to be beat to the punch. Even when they only stop him for 2 yards, it's a positive gain for Newman Smith because it gets him the first down.
1st and 10 from the 48 of McKinney. Handoff, Sterling Inslee up the middle and is caught at the 45. A nice shoestring tackle by J.D. Dowling. Also Paul Nguyen on the stop there. It'll be 2nd down and 6.5, call it 7. 8:10 left to go in the second quarter, 7-0. Newman Smith on top. Newman Smith hasn't won a football game since October 17th, 2003. Since then, their head coach from a year ago is now in Arkansas selling insurance. 2nd down and 7, handoff Inslee up the middle, running over the left guard and gains a couple. It'll be 3rd and long here, 3rd and about 4.5 or 5. And the McKinney defense has a chance to step it up right here.
Well, that's the first time Inslee hasn't gained positive yards since his 4th carry. Or it hasn't gained huge positive yards. This one was only for 2, but it was off to the left side. But now they're faced with a 3rd and a short 5.
3rd down and 5. Shotgun formation. Jones runs it up the middle. He's going to keep it, and he's going to be stopped by Brandon Ogletree at the 40-yard line. So now they're giving him a left-footed spot out there, very close to that marker. And Teddy Sappho is probably real close to that. That's going to be one of those you have to measure, isn't it, Teddy?
It looks like they're going to be a little bit short of the first down marker by about 1 yard, and it's now 3rd down. Back to you guys.
Well, on 4th down now, as they turn the flip thing over down on the far sideline, it will be 4th and very, very, very close. And they are going to measure this. It'll be an official timeout. 6:49 left to go here in the second quarter as they bring out the chains. McKinney trailing in this one 7-0 to Newman Smith. And Newman Smith trying to fight for another first down here. It is 4th down unless they pull this chain into the football, and it is going to be short. It's going to be short by about a foot and a half. It might even be almost 2 feet, Brandon.
Yeah, this is going to be a play where I bet we see something along the lines of a sneak up the middle, because right now the interior defensive line of McKinney just having a tough time stopping any plays up the middle. But on a 4th and short, you don't want to go to the perimeter because that allows pursuit to get there and could be a disaster. So usually on these short, 3rd and short, 4th and short, you'll see something up the middle.
Well, look for Adam Jones here, the quarterback who stands in shotgun formation. You can bet it'll be him or Inslee who's standing right to his left. 2 receivers either side, shotgun, 4th and inches, 4th and about a foot as we determine. And Justin Philpy jumps off sides, and it was a handoff to Inslee. Philpy actually ended up making the tackle at the 42-yard line, but I think he was drawn off sides.
Well, that's the curious thing because he made contact before the snap. So if it's on the defense, it should be a dead ball foul. However, on the offense, if the offensive line moves, it should be an illegal procedure false start. That should be a dead ball foul. So either way, something was blown there. It's going to be officially on McKinney, which I didn't get a good look at the offensive lineman move, but either way, there should have been a dead ball foul and not allowed to be tackled in the background there.
Well, it is 1st and 10 now for Newman Smith at the McKinney 33-yard line. Adam Jones drops back, wants to pass, looking left side, now looks over the middle, and the ball goes in and out of the hands of his receiver over there. That's Richard Council. Council is their lead man with 143 yards coming in. Ball simply just went right between his hands.
Well, we got more laundry on the field, and since it wasn't whistled, I'm going to be betting an offsides, and that's what's going to be the call. On that play, Jones had the pass just a bit too high, but Council still had it in both of his hands. He should have brought that one down, so it should have been a 1st and 10, so McKinney might have avoided a little bit of a disaster there. However, you give him another 5-yard penalty on a 1st down, so they're looking at another 1st and short.
1st and 5 with 6:07 left to go before half. 7-0. Newman Smith on top. 3 receivers. Right side, 1 to the left. Adam Jones throws left side, incomplete. He threw it just short for his receiver, Brandon Gilbert, who had to go back and dive for it. And it was only about a 5-yard pattern anyway. Jones is way off the mark.
Well, and that's something that right now all they're trying to get is small yardage because they had a 1st and 5. So you only needed to average about 1.5 yards on the subsequent plays, but that didn't go their way. The pass was a hair short. Well, right now I'm wondering why they just didn't give it to Sterling Inslee, who's got 30 yards already.
Well, Adam Jones pump fakes, under pressure now, rolls out of the pocket coming near side 30, and is run out of bounds at the 26-yard line, short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and short, one of those again. He had a lot of pressure in the backfield.
And that looked like a good run from Jones, but he just was so deep in the pocket trying to set up to pass, and as soon as he had a guy in his face, he had a huge lane to run to on the left side, but it was converged quickly by the secondary on that side. Jones really only got but 3 yards despite running a good distance.
Inslee in the backfield to the left of Adam Jones, who's going to run it for the 1st down, and he's going to be very close. And Eddie Morgan and company on the stop along with Derek Corey, and we'll see where they spot it. And I believe it's going to be enough for the 1st. And we'll check down once again with Teddy Saffo. And Teddy, it's going to be 3rd down, 4th down actually. And tell us what they got.
Well, they got enough for the 1st down, Monty, and they're moving the chains after getting the ball past the 23-yard line. It'll be a 1st down for R.L. Turner. Back to you guys.
Well, Teddy is thinking about McKinney North because they're playing R.L. Turner tonight. Newman Smith here on top of McKinney, 7-0. Here's Adam Jones going to hand it off, and he is met immediately behind the line of scrimmage by Justin Philpy. A nice play there by the 225-pound DT that goes 6'3".
Well, they need some kind of play like that on defense. They've been on this field for most of the 2nd quarter, Monty. And right now we're at 5:15 and ticking. McKinney has had 1 possession in the 2nd half. And they need a stop like this because right now all Newman is doing is just wearing down this defensive front of McKinney. And you look at them, they're just getting pounded. They're giving up 5 yards here, 5 yards there. That just equals a long drive.
2nd down and 14. This is the 9th play of the drive. Jones is going to keep it running out right side. Hurls it towards the end zone, and it is almost intercepted by Ryan Packard.
Well, we have a flag on the near side of us, but the ball was on the far side over there.
He was trying to hit Jerry Turner on the streak towards the end zone. Ryan Packard was in great coverage. Packard, I thought, was going to come down with the football. He juggled a little bit in the end zone. It fell incomplete, but you're right, there's a flag right at the 8-yard line.
But that's the thing. It shouldn't be a pass interference on that far side because there were 3 closer officials, all who would have had a better look. Instead, it's the line judge on this side who threw the flag.
It could be defensive holding. As one
well,
of the
they're right now, it looks like J.D. Dowling is signaling it's against Newman after sitting in on the official, and it's going to be pass interference on Newman. That's going to be declined.
Head coach Todd McVeigh came out to the numbers, almost to the hash mark, trying to figure out what it was going to be, talking to the officials and the referee, Roy Gaskill. And now the ball will be placed at the 25-yard line. 26 rather. This is Jones going to be rolling out right side under a lot of pressure and undershoots his man at the 25 back of the line of scrimmage. He was trying to hit Gilbert and underthrew him once again.
Well, it looked like they were trying to set up a screen pass, Monty, to the right side. However, McKinney defended that well because the rush came from that right side and didn't give Jones a throwing lane at all to try to hit. And then under pressure, instead of taking a sack, which would have essentially knocked him out of field goal range, he just threw it toward the vicinity of one of his receivers. And that allowed him to stay in field goal range for them to attempt about a 43-yarder here.
Ball resting at the 33. The kick is up. It's very high, and Teasdale's kick is good. A 43-yard field goal for Clayton Teasdale, and Newman Smith is now on top 10-0. 4:34 left to go before half. McKinney High football will continue in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. 10-0, Newman Smith on top of McKinney here at Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. It was a moment ago Clayton Teasdale who booted through the 43-yard field goal. An incredible feat for a high school kid. And our new score 10-0, as I mentioned. 4:34 left to go in the second quarter, as now Teasdale will tee it up at the 40-yard line in his own territory and boot this one high and deep to McKinney, moving left to right. McKinney is going to take it at about the 3-yard line, and on the reception is Eddie Morgan as he crosses the 18, 19 out to the 22-yard line, and McKinney will take over at their own 22, moving left to right.
Well, they had the wedge set up nicely there, but the problem was the wedge was set up at the 20, and the returner took the ball in at the 3. The wedge had its job, but there was just so much time for the returner to get to the wedge, but that didn't allow for any big return because Newman was able to collapse on it after being initially stifled for the first couple of seconds.
Well, this will be McKinney's 4th possession. On their first, they missed a field goal. Then they had to quick kick and punt last time, and we'll see what they get going here on offense, as it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 22, 4:26 and rolling in the second quarter. This is going to be a handoff. Up the middle, no, Alcorn keeps it in at quarterback and not gaining very much. Maybe he gets out back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to pitch it because there was a lineman in between him and Wimbish, but if he's able to pitch that, Wimbish is able to run down the sideline for a good gain.
2nd down and 10. Alcorn, the quarterback, into the game. As we mentioned, Wimbish to his right, and Brett Anderson will stand to his left. Dominic Sweeney in at tight end, and Chris Zilmer split out wide right, Michael Peters wide left. Brett Anderson goes in motion. This is going to be a handoff. Wimbish running left side, trying to find the corner, crosses the 20. Cuts it back inside, 25, dances and turns his way out to the 26 and 27-yard line.
Well, that's Wimbish's 7th carry now, and that's by far one of his better gains of 5 to put him at 21 for the day. Had a decent block to set up the seal on the outside. However, when he was cutting back, that allowed the Smith defense to collapse on him.
You just wait at any moment. You know, you're so used to seeing Chris Wimbish bust those big, long runs, and you're sitting on the edge of your seat knowing that at any moment that can happen. And Wimbish and company trying to get the play in, and they're going to have to call a timeout as the play clock's down to 3, and they do call a timeout. We'll take one, too. 3:04 left to go in the second quarter. Newman Smith on top, 10-0. McKinney High School football will continue in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. 3rd down and 5 for McKinney. Deep in their own territory at their own 27-yard line. This is Alcorn, the quarterback. Shotgun formation. Drops back 2 steps. Wants to throw it. Now steps up in the pocket and overshoots everybody. He was trying to hit on the outside Michael Peters, but overshot him. I think he was just trying to throw it away. It'll be 4th down. 4th and 5, so no fake or anything like that here. They've just got to punt it away.
Well, I don't know if he was trying to throw it away because Peters was all by himself on that far sideline. Blown coverage by Newman Smith. And if he's able to complete that, that's going to be a 1st down and a lot more.
Well, Alcorn will go back to punt here, standing at his own 15-yard line. The snap is back. It's a good one, and Alcorn gets it away. It's a low line kick that's going to bounce on the near sideline. Michael Peters is near it, letting it roll. And it's going to be down by Michael Peters right at the 40-yard line. Also down there for McKinney in coverage was Greg Miller.
Well, it looked like an end-over-end kick that didn't go as far as you would initially like, but got the benefit of about a 10 to 15-yard roll. One thing to be concerned about if you're the McKinney offense, Monty, they're only 1 of 5 on 3rd down conversions.
I know Newman Smith right here with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left to go before the half would really like to stick it in right here and try to hand it to McKinney and get this big lead. Right now they lead 10-0. They swing out pass. No, it's going to be a fake, and Jones tries to set up the screen on the near side and overshoots his receiver, Sterling Inslee, who snuck out of the backfield. 2nd down and 10.
Well, that's a good play if you can contain the left defensive end for McKinney, Casey Cooley, because most of the defense did bite on that fake and went to the left side. And then it was just a very high pass that allowed the defense to converge and get their bearings straight. But if Cooley doesn't make that pressure, Jones is able to make a much better pass.
2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line. 2:41 left to go before the half. McKinney needs a big play, maybe a turnover. This is Jones, drops back. He's at the 30 now, hits his man over across the middle, and that's Inslee, actually. He's going to be short of the first down as he gains enough yardage out to the 49. That's going to be about a yard short with 2:27 left to go, and it will be 3rd and short. What do you do here, Brandon?
Well, at this moment, I think a simple run up the middle has been so successful, and this defense is tired, although they did get a brief respite during the last McKinney offense possession. Did take some time off the clock, but I'd imagine that's what they're going to do is just pound it up the middle.
With 2:08 left to go in the half, each team has a timeout left. Jones has 3 receivers to the right. He's going to quarterback, sneak it up the middle, has the first down, crosses to the 40. Fumble! There is a fumble on the play. J.D. Dowling has it at the 35-30, 25-20, 15, 10, 5. It is touchdown time in Texas. J.D. Dowling recovers the fumble and runs it to the house.
55 yards on a fumble. You had the first down, but Jones had the ball knocked loose, and Dowling picks it up, breaks a tackle even, and then runs down the sideline with 3 blockers behind him. McKinney needed that more than right now to get momentum back, because I tell you, they looked flat, and this is the type of play that just puts air back in the balloon.
Well, as Teddy Sappho comes up here, we're going to ask him, as he gets to the he gets up to the booth here right before the half. I wonder what he was doing to McKinney down there, because as soon as he comes up here, they start showing signs of life as Kleineberg kicks the extra point, and it is good. 10-7 with 1:50 left to go before half. McKinney trailing in this one, but we'll be back, and hopefully they can put some more on. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back as Patrick Kleineberg about to boot this one off. 1:50 left to go before half. McKinney just scored on a fumble recovery by J.D. Dowling. 55 yards. He picked it up and ran it to the house. And we have a new score, 10-7. Newman Smith still on top. Kleineberg's kick is a high pooch kick, going to land about the 20-yard line. Actually hits the ground. It's on the turf. And finally picked up by an up man, and he is buried right at the 20-yard line. We've got some scores to pass along. R.L. Turner and McKinney North over at MISD Stadium are tied at 7. We have a Wiley score in Sherman, actually in Wiley. Wiley up 6-0, so the Bearcats trying to hang on there and not doing a bad job.
Well, on this last kick return, this is one reason why on the pooch kick you have to field it, because if it takes a funny bounce, and let me tell you, footballs can't take a funny bounce, so you had to field that. That was almost recovered by McKinney. Boy, how huge would that have been?
That would have been absolutely huge, and Newman Smith would have been thinking, here we go again, as that kind of mentality creeps in when you're 0 for your last 15 in the win column. Here is Jones, hands off Inslee. No, he's going to keep it around the right side, has some room, cuts it back inside, and gains 5 yards out to the 25-yard line. 1:34 left to go in the second. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Despite that being a 4-yard gain, did you see the little bit more pep in this defense from McKinney? All of a sudden they have a little bit more momentum. They have something to play for. And now with 1:20 left and Smith on their own 25, you just need solid defensive play from here to end the half.
McKinney needed a big play like that, and J.D. Dowling gave him the spark possibly. 2nd down and 6. This is going to be a handoff up the middle. Inslee has a big hole, crosses the 35.
He fumbled.
The ball is on the turf.
But I think he recovered. I think he fell on it.
I think he did fall back on it. It'll be a first down. Cross the 35 out to the 36-yard line. So with 1:02 left to go before the half, Inslee picks up some more.
Well, that took a fortuitous bounce for Inslee there because he was being tackled on his way to the ground. The ball didn't go in any funny direction. It just basically fell right in front of him, and as he was being tackled, was able to land on it.
10-yard gain for Inslee. Takes the ball to the 35. Newman Smith moving right to left towards the north end zone. 2 receivers to either side. Jones, the quarterback, shotgun formation, gets it and hands off up the middle. Inslee again. He trips over the 35-yard line and goes down in the hands of Casey Cooley, and also over there the linebacker for McKinney, Adonis Graham.
Well, if I told you at this point Sterling Inslee only had 11 carries for 37 yards, you'd kind of tilt your head because he seems to be gaining positive yardage every time, but every now and then there will be that one or a negative loss that will creep in. And right now, McKinney needs to do that just a couple more times.
Only 9 seconds on the clock before half. 7-6. This is going to be a shotgun, and Jones wants to heave it downfield. Rolls out right. Past the line of scrimmage now. Can't throw it and rolls out of bounds. That's the end of the first half. Newman Smith leads the first half, 10-7. They're on top. We'll recap this first part of this football game and figure out how and why and how everything else happened here. 10-7. Newman Smith on top of McKinney. We'll wrap this thing up here in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.
Which is what they were doing. And now Monty, we get ready. We're about 9 seconds or so from the start of the half, according to the scoreboard. Of course, McKinney not back on the field yet. But we look for that second half. I think the defense is going to be okay because they only gave up 137 total yards that first half, which is really good. They were just on the field for so long.
Yeah, they really were. And you guys were talking about Zane Alcorn and Ben Martinek. We talked to head coach Todd McVeigh on Wednesday, and basically he said that Martinek got a start against Western Hills, and Zane Alcorn got a start last week. Martinek was going to start this week, but you would see a lot of Alcorn, and we have tonight.
And so it's good to know that there's not an injury resulting in Martinek's out, but I tell you, he has had pressure in his face quite a bit. He's only gone 1 of 4 for 5 yards. And there was a couple of times, especially with Alcorn, that there was an open look, but he couldn't do anything with it just because there was so much pressure, although there was one time where Peters was alone on the sideline, but he just overthrew him.
I want to thank Chris at True Image Productions, Chris McClintock. You know, they're the guys that do all the legwork for these films and the DVDs that I know that a lot of you are purchasing as the Newman Smith Trojans come back out on the field. But, yeah, if you're wanting to purchase one of these DVDs, you might see it on cable or something like that, call Chris over at True Image Productions or email him at chris@trueimageproductions.com. Also want to pass along a word of thanks to Jermaine Designs, who designed our what you can call these jerseys, I guess, that we're wearing up here. They have the logo, McKinney North on the right sleeve, McKinney on the left. If you've seen me at the Wednesday night coaches show at Beef O'Brady's, you know what I'm talking about. But we want to thank Jermaine Designs in Denison for putting these together. And I tell you what, I have a lot of compliments on these every Wednesday night at the coaches show.
Yeah, when I go out at nights, I put these on because they look so good and they're just great to go out. And I tell you, these are very snazzy unis we have.
You know, when you're going out on Friday night, taking your best girl out on the town, you know, maybe go into, I don't know, the mansion or something like that, and put on your North logo and a McKinney logo.
Well, all that's true except the girl part, but anyway.
And McKinney coming back out on the field. We should resume play momentarily as the two captains are coming back out on the field and meeting in the middle, and it will be Ryan Packard for McKinney and the backup quarterback who actually started tonight, Derek Cosper, comes back out for Newman Smith. Now Cosper, who played a lot early on in this football game, got knocked out by Eddie Morgan at about the near side 47-yard line. He didn't come back in as Adam Jones finished the half. We'll see what happens there with Cosper.
And Cosper, while being the backup quarterback, is the starting linebacker. When he was knocked out, winded if you will, he came back in on the next defensive possession, just hasn't come back in on offense. So it looks like he's going to be okay. And, you know, it's just a situation where you get your starting quarterback back in. I don't know if Jones was out or if they just wanted to get Cosper some reps or whatever, but either quarterback that was in, they've moved the ball pretty efficiently at the quarterback position. But this isn't a situation where the quarterback dictates how the offense does. It's all basically run for Newman Smith through Sterling Inslee, who has the majority of the yards today. On the ground, is the leading yard getter rather on the ground, and is second in reception yards. So he's their main offensive weapon.
In effect, McKinney will actually take the ball on the first possession on both halves because they recovered the fumble on the opening Beef O'Brady's kickoff, and on this one they will actually receive. So they will have possession of the football opening both halves as the kicker for Newman Smith will be Clayton Teasdale, and he will tee it up at the 40 on the Beef O'Brady's kickoff. And be sure and check with Beef O'Brady's on Wednesday nights. Go by there. You might want to get there about 7 o'clock. We go on the air at 8 o'clock on 97.5 with the coaches show. But check out Beef O'Brady's as we prepare for the kickoff.
And again, expect a pooch kick from Teasdale. He's only about 3 to 4 yards off and approaches it where basically all you can do is a pooch kick.
He will stand 4 yards deep, and he punches it high in the air. It's going to be taken at the 31-yard line. It's going to be taken by Dominic Swinney. He's going to be down at the 34, right around the 33-yard line. So McKinney will take over at their own 33-yard line, and that's about where they started out the first half. They started at their own 31, so.
Well, and that's what a pooch kick does. It limits the return, and there's a lot of times if you're a smart returner, you're just going to signal a fair catch. Sweeney only was able to gain toward about 2 yards despite going hash mark to hash mark. But that's exactly what you want out of the pooch kick.
2 receivers to either side for McKinney. This is Martinek, the quarterback. Handoff, Wimbish running left side. He is stopped right at the line of scrimmage, but pushes his way over for another yard, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
You know what McKinney might want to think about doing is a reverse of some kind with Wimbish, because Newman Smith goes where Wimbish goes, and there's one guy who stays contained on this side. So if they do a reverse, that might be something they consider doing, or maybe a misdirection play, fake Wimbish to the left, give to a receiver in motion to the right.
Part of the problem is that Newman Smith's defensive front averages 246 pounds. Here is a fake to Wimbish up the middle, and Martinek has some running room, crosses the 40 up to the 45-yard line and has enough for the first down. That is probably the biggest running play that we have seen in quite some time for McKinney, is just a fake. As you mentioned, fake it to Wimbish because that's where everybody's going. Martinek kept it around the right side and off to a first down.
Well, one of my nicknames is Coach Brandon for a reason, and that's what they had to do is get a misdirection. That carry of 9 yards by Martinek was the 2nd largest carry of the game so far for McKinney.
So mark it at the 45-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, 10:53 left to go in this 3rd quarter. Newman Smith on top, 10-7. 2 receivers either side, power to the left side. Martinek rolls out right, wanting to pass. Left-handed quarterback throws it away. We'll have to check and see if they're going to call grounding on that one, and they do. Flag down by the back judge. And the back judge tonight is Jesse Ramon, and he was quick to point out that Martinek just threw that one away. You know, being a left-handed quarterback, it's a little tough rolling right.
Well, and the thing that got him there was he was so deep in the pocket. He got outside the tackles, which is one of the new UIL rules. You get outside the tackle, you have to get the ball to the line of scrimmage. But because Martinek was so deep, that didn't even get close to the line of scrimmage, and Newman would have had a good case if they didn't call that, which they eventually did.
Well, they'll move the ball back. 10:40 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Newman Smith on top, 10-7. Ball will rest now at the 35. It'll be 2nd down and 20. A long way to go for the McKinney Lions, with Wimbish standing to the left of Ben Martinek in shotgun formation. Here's Martinek, wanting to throw, dropping left side now. Overshoots Michael Peters at the 45-yard line, and the ball will fall incomplete, 3rd down and 20.
And this is a situation where McKinney hasn't been successful today in the first half. 1 of 5 on converting a 3rd down attempt, Monty.
10, North Garland 7. Grand Prairie 14, Richardson Pierce 13.
Well, that'll leave 3rd and 20, and McKinney's going to have to convert here on this 3rd and long.
St. Alcorn's not in, so don't expect a quick kick, which we saw earlier, which worked really well, by the way.
Wimbish moves over to the right side of Ben Martinek. 3 receivers out far left, 1 to the right. He wants to throw right on the fade route to Jeff Fuller, and he overshoots him at the 39-yard line in Newman Smith territory. Fuller's a big kid and pretty fast, but couldn't run underneath that one. That was just too far out thrown.
Missed him by about 1 yard to 2. And it's a shame because Fuller had his step on the covered corner out there, Willie Agnew, but just couldn't get that extra step or 2 to get underneath it.
Well, it will be punt time in Texas for McKinney as they will come out on 4th and 20. Zane Alcorn will go back to inside his 15, will stand actually inside his 25 and stand at the 22-yard line. Back deep is Rose for Newman Smith. And a high snap, Zane Alcorn brings it down, gets the snap off, and it's going to be taken at the 38-yard line. Rose running right side, cuts it up inside, and fumbles on the play. McKinney may have recovered. They may say he was down at the 48-yard line, and that's what they're going to rule.
Immediately the line judge started doing the down motion right as that happened. But I want to go back to that punt just for a minute. That was a high snap, and you got to give credit to Zane Alcorn. He's not a big guy in any way at only 5'10", but he reaches up with all he has to grab that one, pulls it down, is able to save a punt. But even still, the McKinney coverage wasn't down in time to really stop any kind of a decent return. On a punt, a decent return's of 10, and that's exactly what Newman Smith got.
1st and 10 for Newman Smith. Running right to left, handoff Sterling Inslee, left tackle, has a hole, cuts it to the 45 into McKinney territory, and they're going to mark him at the 46 actually. So a nice gain of 5 yards there on 1st down. We're just about to the 10-minute mark in the 3rd quarter. Newman Smith on top 10-7.
Well, now up to 42 for the day is Inslee. Even though he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry, it seems like every time he touches the ball, he gets 5. But his only 12th carry for 42 yards. And right now, McKinney just needs to stop him, I think.
Adam Jones, the quarterback, 2 receivers either side. He's going to run off the right side and the option, and he keeps it, goes down at the 41-yard line. Nice job by the McKinney defense to drag him down, but he's going to be right at the 1st down marker.
See, that's why you don't pitch it early on an option play designed like that, because McKinney couldn't commit to either Jones or to Inslee there. They had to keep a guy on Inslee with the guy shadowing Jones, and that allowed him to get 4 yards to set up a 3rd and 1 instead of what McKinney's been doing, which is a pitch out way too early and letting those guys just key on the running back.
Well, the defensive ends usually are in charge of stopping the quarterback, and that would be Adam Fairborn on that far side. Fairborn must have got trapped inside because Jones was able to get outside. And now on 3rd and very short, we'll send 3 receivers out wide left for Newman Smith. Jones quarterback sneak up the middle, running right tackle, bounces it outside. Fumble! The ball is loose on the turf. A dog pile at the 37-yard line. McKinney says they have it.
Well, they just came up with it. Coming out of the pile was Adonis Graham, but there was no way he's down. They cannot. Oh, no.
Coach Todd McVeigh is livid on the far sideline.
Oh, he's got a case, too. Jones was standing up, and it happened right in front of me. Oh, boy, McKinney's really getting the raw end of that deal.
Well, it'll be 1st down for Newman Smith at the 38-yard line in McKinney territory as they'll run 3 receivers out left, 1 to the right side. This is Jones, the quarterback, handed off. Sterling Inslee up the middle, big hole. And a flag on the play. Thank goodness for McKinney, because Inslee might have been gone.
Inslee was gone because the defense heard the whistle and wasn't playing.
It'll be a false start for Newman Smith. Bring that one back, and whoo, that was scary.
Only the 2nd penalty for Smith. They've been very disciplined so far. And the odd thing to think about is despite their discipline, they've had 2 turnovers.
For a couple of reasons.
And they're actually losing the turnover margin, 2-0, but they're leading on the scoreboard.
4th play of the drive, 8:05 left to go in the 3rd quarter, 3 receivers left. This is a quarterback keeper for Jones, running left side, runs laterally for a lot of yards, but only gets maybe 1 as he crosses the 40-yard line.
Actually, Cosper in the game, spelling Jones, and I think what's happening there is the coach for Newman Smith, Bobby Bounds, is saying he knows that was a fumble, and so he's putting Jones on the sideline to talk it over with him and put Cosper in, who prior to that carry had 3 carries for 29 yards.
Cosper will come out now, and Adam Jones will come back in. 3 receivers out to the far side. Look out for Richard Council in the slot on the right side. Sterling Inslee in the backfield, standing to his right. And Jones is going to roll right. Trapped up the middle, now cuts it inside. He's in jail behind the line of scrimmage. Brandon Ogletree and Justin Philpy tackle him, but not after he gains 1, but it's going to be 3rd and long at about 11 yards to go.
Well, give him credit for dancing. At least it was able to propel him forward, but when you dance, you allow the defense to get there. But, again, if he's not dancing, he loses yardage, so that was probably the best thing he could do in that situation.
3rd down and 11, and again, Richard Council's the guy who scares me. He came into the game 6 catches, 143 yards, and a touch. He is in the right slot. Adam Jones knows it. He's in shotgun formation with Sterling Inslee standing to the right. And Jones will roll out, looking for Council. Now throws it deep on the right side, down the hash and out of bounds. He overshot Council. He was trying to find him on the outside pattern, but overshot him. It'll be 4th down. The ball resting at the 39-yard line. Surely Mr. Clayton Teasdale can't kick this one.
Well, we got to watch out for the McKinneySports.net photographer down there. She nearly got plowed over as that ball was thrown in her direction, but give her credit for being able to scoot out of the way of that one. By the way, neither team having very successful attempts on 3rd down, despite Newman Smith having a decent offensive production. They're only now 3 of 8 after that missed attempt.
Clayton Teasdale is on, but he's going to punt. He's standing at his own 48-yard line.
Whoa, Cosper was under center, the backup quarterback, but now he gets back to the deep set.
And with 4 on the play clock, Teasdale gets it off. It's a high spiraling kick, going to bounce at the 6-yard line and take a Newman Smith hop. And it's going to die at the 8-yard line. So McKinney's going to take over deep in their own territory with 6:17 left to go here in the 3rd quarter, down by 3, 10-7.
Well, that's just a microcosm of today's game for McKinney. They almost get a blocked punt. 2 guys were diving for it, and luckily nothing major happened by like a head-to-head collision. But both of them were about a half-second late. And then it looks like the ball's going to go into the end zone, and instead takes just a bounce sideways. And Newman Smith downs it at the 8, so now McKinney deep in their own territory.
At the 8-yard line, back in shotgun formation is Martinek. Handoff, Wimbish up the middle, big hole. He's up to the 15 and caught. A shoestring tackle at the 17-yard line. Give all the credit in the world to the safety for for Newman Smith, Ricky Jordan, as he laid the shoestring tackle down on Chris Wimbish, or he was gone.
Why did Newman Smith follow Martinek on that one? 4 guys bit. And right now, if you're the Newman Smith defense, you just key on Wimbish until they do something else, which they did, I guess, one of the plays prior was keep it to Martinek, but Wimbish should be your key.
10-yard gain out to the 18-yard line. This is going to be a fake to Wimbish. No, he hands it off to him, and he crosses the 25-yard line. Mark it at the 26 with 5:39 and rolling here in the 3rd quarter.
So a gain of 7 by Wimbish again. They thought, now you're buying on it. Initially saying that it was a fake to Wimbish, and Newman Smith thought the same thing. And so now back-to-back plays has netted 17 yards for Wimbish when that should be what Newman Smith is keying on.
Newman Smith getting a heavy dose of Chris Wimbish right here. 2nd down and 3. Handoff, Wimbish running left side. He is quick, and he's not quick enough to get out of the double tackle of Newman Smith as they take him down right at the line of scrimmage. Great play by the defensive end and the cornerback over there for Newman Smith. Richard Council actually going both ways, and the linebacker Michael Volmar.
Well, it was 2nd and a long 3, basically 4, so you just need to average 2 yards, and that's what they got on that carry there from Wimbish, was exactly 2 yards.
3rd down and short, 3rd down and 2. McKinney on a hard snap count. Newman Smith does not bite on it. Now Martinek looks over to the sideline, tries to find another play. 10 seconds on the play clock, and Martinek bobbles the snap, hands it off Wimbish, and he is met, and I don't believe he has the 1st down. He got up to the 27, but needed to get to the 28, and I think it's going to be 4th down again.
Well, again, I said it earlier about being a microcosm. So is that one. Wimbish had a hole, but because Martinek bobbled the snap a little bit, that threw the timing off, and instead of Wimbish hitting the hole at full speed, he had to try to ramp back up after taking that one, and now you're seeing the punt team come on.
Well, Zane Alcorn's going to have a sore right leg tomorrow as comes on to punt for the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, nobody
time.
back for Smith. Coaches are trying to tell him somebody to get back.
And Alcorn's going to punt for the 5th time tonight. He gets it off. It's a high end-over-end punt. It takes a great McKinney bounce. It's going to roll down to the 25-yard line, and that's where the Lions will kill the ball, and Newman Smith will take over at their own 25. 3:47 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Newman Smith on top, 10-7. And let's remember, Newman Smith has not won a football game since October 17th, 2003. And that night, they were able to defeat rival Carrollton Creekview 32-29, so they barely squeaked that one out.
Well, they seem composed here today, but Bobby Bounds screaming at his special teams, probably just the standard defense after that one, because no one was back to even just call a fair catch. McKinney was able to gain an extra 20 yards in field position, and in a game like this where there's only a field goal difference, 20 yards is huge.
3 receivers to the right side, 2 to the left. Adam Jones in at quarterback, sends a man in motion, hands off to him, that's Rose running to the right side, cuts it back inside. J.D. Dowling meets him along with a couple of other McKinney Lions, Derek Corey being one of them and Brandon Ogletree the other. It'll be a gain of about 3, so 2nd down and 7, call it 2nd down and, well, he almost got 5 yards on that carry, so 2nd down and a long 5.
Yeah, in that situation, you have a slot receiver going in motion left to right of the formation. He took the handoff, but because he had to go laterally, again, that lets defensive players from McKinney converge on the ball carrier. And it could have been a bigger play with all the running he did, but he was just running sideways a bunch.
Can you imagine trying to play drums for Newman Smith? This kid's got to be worn out. Here's a handoff running to the right side. Sterling Inslee gets it around the reverse. 40, 45 and out of bounds. 1st down for Newman Smith. They're going to mark him out at the 46-yard line, or 45 rather. They sent Inslee out in the slot formation, sent him in motion. Same play as they ran a moment ago with George Rose, but Inslee took the handoff and had a little bit more speed out to the far sideline. It'll be 1st and 10, 5 yards short of the midfield stripe.
That's what you want to do when you're running a pattern to the side like that, to the sideline, is have a fast, speedy ball carrier, and that's exactly what Inslee is, and much faster than Rose, and which allowed that play to work.
This time he will line up in the backfield to the left side of Jones. Gets the handoff, running right tackle, big lane, 50, 45-yard line. He was tackled by Eddie Morgan and dove for 3 more yards. Very close to the 1st down. It might be another one. They might just go ahead and move these chains.
Well, he's up to about 67 yards, depending on if they move. Yeah, they're going to move the chain, so he is up to 67 yards now in the game. Inslee is on 14 carries, so he's put up some quick yardage here on this drive.
They are now in McKinney territory at the McKinney 45-yard line. Running right to left towards that north end zone. Jones is going to hand off Sterling Inslee, and now he's going to keep it running left side, and he's in jail. J.D. Dowling has him right at the 45-yard line.
Not going to get credit for any type of tackle or anything, but senior Mark Harmon basically made that play. He might get an assist, but he basically stayed in front of Jones the whole time, and Jones was trying to dance and juke to get around him and couldn't. He held up the play, and Jones was tackled for no gain.
Bad news for McKinney fans as J.D. Dowling is down at the 44-yard line. Now, he missed some time last week with a partial separated shoulder and missed part of week 1 in Western Hills with some cramps, and I don't know exactly what this might be, and we don't want to speculate the injury, but he's moving. I mean, he's okay. He's talking to the coaches now. He gets up.
Looks like a winded issue.
And, yeah, he's going to have to.
Well, let me tell you, when you get winded, there's nothing that is tougher to overcome than trying to get that breath back.
And he's walking gingerly off the field. He's okay.
He's mad, too, because he doesn't want to leave. Look at that.
He does have to leave for one play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. 2:01 on the clock before the half. Before the fourth quarter. No, it's not a serious injury. Inside 2 minutes now before the fourth quarter, 10-7. Newman Smith on top here at Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Newman Smith on the field. Adam Jones, the quarterbacks, and Sterling Inslee is going to stand to his right. 2 receivers to either side. Brandon Gilbert to the left. On the far sideline is Mario Miles. This is Jones. Handoff Inslee up the middle. Big hole 40 down to the 38-yard line. And now McKinney's just getting a big, heavy dose of Sterling Inslee.
Yeah, it's the guy you got to stop. The offense runs through him. When he's not doing well, there's only so much Jones can do. And right now, I mean, these aren't even tough plays. These are just basically simple carries up the middle, standard blocking up front by the offensive line of taking the man in front of him. And that's allowing Inslee on this one to get 7.
J.D. Dowling back in the game. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2.5. This is a big play for McKinney. Jones, handoff, Sterling Inslee. And McKinney makes the stop. Derek Corey makes the stop behind the line of scrimmage. It is a great play. And Derek Clary, I should say. Derek Clary makes the stop. And now that brings up a crucial 4th down, and this is out of range of Clayton Teasdale as well, as they'll probably have to punt unless, well, they do have the option of going for it, and Adam Jones isn't leaving the field.
Well, they've converted the only 4th down they attempted, and when you're in high school and you're inside the 40, punt's not going to do much difference.
Jones, quarterback, is going to roll out right, throw out to Council, has it caught at the 30, 20, 15, 10, and down at the 7-yard line. Not only do they convert on 4th down, they pick up good yardage inside the 10-yard line down to the 8. A 25-yard pickup for Newman Smith and Richard Council. You know, we talked about him being the dangerous weapon for Newman Smith with the 143 yards receiving coming in. And that was a huge play down from the 37 all the way down to the 8-yard to the 7-yard line. So a 30-yard scamper by Council, and now Jones running right side, tucks it in, and he's not got a lot of room to run, but he does pick up a yard down to the 6-yard line.
Well, right now, besides that big play, this has just been basically a churn-it-out offense for Newman Smith. There hasn't been those big plays. And, you know, that's only the 2nd possession for Newman Smith, and the quarter's over.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter. Newman Smith on top, 10-7. 4th quarter coming up next on 97.5 K-Lake FM. It is 4th quarter time in Texas. And Newman Smith knocking on the door here at the 6-yard line, trying to punch it in as they change end zone. Council goes in motion. They fake the handoff to him and give it to Sterling Inslee, and he rushes for the touchdown. 6 yards on the score. Sterling Inslee, his 2nd touchdown of the night, 3rd on the year.
I'm not sure how that works, but somehow a fake to any other runner but Inslee than a give to Inslee works. Just as I was talking about Wimbish on the possession earlier for McKinney, that should be your key. Your key should be Inslee at all times. And that was just an easy run for him because most of the McKinney defense bit on the fake.
The extra point by Teasdale is the snap is back. The kick is up. It's very high. Looks good, and it is. 17-7, 11:55 left to go in the 4th quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Standard Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, and Newman Smith goes on top 17-7 on the Sterling Inslee 6-yard touchdown run, his 2nd of the night. And now Clayton Teasdale will tee it up, kick off to McKinney, who is standing back there fully expecting the pooch kick as Wimbish and Eddie Morgan stand at the 15-yard line. And it's going to be a high, very high pooch kick. It's going to be taken at the 27-yard line by Brett Anderson, running across the field. Somebody got a great block. Anderson collides head-on with one of the Newman Smith Trojans, and he will get out to the 37-yard line. So 1st and 10 for McKinney, and at some point, Brandon, you got to see the McKinney offense turn it on because they have done nothing but punt going all the way back to the 1st quarter.
Well, and they finally started getting some positive yards on that last drive, but they just started so deep in their own territory that, you know, when you have to go 92 yards to your own end zone, you know, you can have a 50-yard drive and get nothing for it, and that's almost what happened. They picked up about 30, but they need to get moving forward here.
They have punted in their last 5 possessions. They have 2 men in the backfield standing behind Martinek, the quarterback, and he's going to roll out right side. No, he gave it up the middle on the handoff. Is a great handoff, and then a fake afterwards as Brett Anderson carries it to the 38-yard line. Not much doing as Newman Smith sniffed it out better than I did.
Well, and that's the thing. They keyed on Anderson there despite Wimbish being the beneficiary of a fake, and I'm surprised Newman was able to do so well on that play. And but again, in Brett Anderson, not great speed, and had to dodge a couple in the backfield. 2nd down and 10. Snap is back. Wimbish gets the toss right side, shakes one tackler, but he can't shake the other 4 as he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Well, and his offensive line is just getting dominated. Wimbish had to shake 2 Newman Smith defenders in the backfield basically when he took the snap, or when he took the handoff rather from Martinek, and then by the time he shakes that off, he's able to get to the line and get a yard but he's still having to fight through a couple.
Well, as we mentioned, the defensive line for Newman Smith averaging 246, the offensive line for McKinney averaging 229 up front. So you're already at a disadvantage of over 15 pounds up front. Here's Martinek rolling out right side. The left-handed quarterback's going to have to turn and throw it, and he does, and it's incomplete. He was trying to hit Chris Zilmer on the out route, and it was right at the first down marker. And guess what? Punt time again. Zane Alcorn will go back to punt. It's 4th down and 10, or just inside 10, maybe about 6 inches inside that chain link. So
and that's the thing. I'm not sure that rollout to that side is a good thing for Martinek, because he tried to rear back and give it all he had, and he still came up short. Maybe they ought to think about rolling him out to the other side.
Well, he will stand. Zane Alcorn will stand at his 25-yard line, punting it towards the north end zone, and now a timeout is called, and we'll take 1-2. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Standard Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms as Zane Alcorn just punched the ball away. A pretty good end-over-end kick that rolls in McKinney's favor out at the 27-yard line. So 73 yards away from pay dirt is Newman Smith, and they will take over at 1st and 10.
Well, close to a 40-yard punch, what you want to get out of Alcorn there. Put it back Newman Smith deeper. Now all you really just need a stop. One stop, 3 and out right here to hold the field possession advantage, and then try to get your ball back quickly on the offensive side.
This is going to be a fake handoff, and actually Jones is going to run it up left guard, and he's going to gain 4 yards or so. And how about another, it would be nice for another turnover in one of those J.D. Dowling 55-yard scrambles, but he would only have to go about 33 here, wouldn't he?
Yeah, let's not let him get out to the 45-yard line of McKinney before you do it. A turnover would be great here. And this is a surprising thing, Monty. They're winning the turnover battle, yet despite that, are still struggling to put up any type of numbers offensively.
Well, Newman Smith's defense has been really overpowering tonight, making them punt in their last 6 possessions, as they will hand off this time. Sterling Inslee running out left side, and he has nowhere to go. Justin Philpy levels him right behind the 30-yard line, and they're going to mark him, giving forward progress to the 30, but Philpy really laid the wood on him.
I don't know if these numbers are accurate for Inslee. They have him at 6 foot 205. I question that a bit. Philippi just looked like a much bigger monster there at 6'3", 225, and leveled Inslee, but he had nowhere to run. That's what this defense needs to do.
3rd down and long, and this is a stop that McKinney desperately needs here. J.D. Dowling and Brandon Ogletree in at linebacker positions. Eddie Morgan comes up tight. Eddie Morgan is kind of sneaking around Richard Council, the slot receiver, and that's the guy that they're going to be looking for. Adam Jones is going to fake the hand to Inslee and throws out right side, has Council, and he is busted, but not after he makes the catch at the 42-yard line, enough for the 1st down. Eddie Morgan came up, and that was the matchup I was talking about before that play. Eddie Morgan and Council, and Morgan let him slide a little bit too far, popped him, but not after he caught it, and enough for the 1st down.
Well, and that's what you expect out of Council. He's just able to do what he does there. In that case, go up and get a pass and come down with it. Both feet down squarely on the ground, is holding the ball, and then takes a couple steps out to the sideline to get out of bounds, but not before taking a hit, but he hauls it in, and that's just perfect.
12-yard gain out to the 42-yard line, and they're going to toss it. They're going to hand it off to Council, running to the left side. Runs about 40 yards, but only picks up 2 as he ran laterally for just about all of that. And it'll be 2nd down and long from the 44-yard line. And they may go ahead and mark him at the 45, and I think that's where they're going to mark it, so give him 3 yards.
They need 2 more possessions, or rather 2 more plays of just 3 yards. Although they're marching it back. We got a penalty?
There was a flag on the play, and they are marching it back. Was it a face mask?
Holding
against Newman Smith. 8:40 left to go in the football game. Newman Smith on top, 17-7. It'll be 1st and very, very long here. 1st and 20. And McKinney is going to have to score twice to even think about tying this game, much less going ahead.
Only the 3rd penalty on the night for Smith for 20 yards, and they've done fairly well, not drawing the penalty flag, which is one reason they're ahead.
Two receivers either side. Jones, two-step drop, throws it over the middle, caught and knocked down immediately by Brandon Ogletree, but it was caught by the backup quarterback who's in the slot now, Derek Cosper. Cosper came in with 2 catches for 16 yards and a touchdown. He caught one last week against Greenville, and he makes the catch here. Second down and 13 yards to go for the first. 7:58 and rolling here in the fourth quarter. Newman Smith on top, 17-7.
He's now thrown for 2 yards, Cosper has. He's now run for 32, and that pass is a reception for 7 yards.
3 receivers far left. He's a
How often do you see
versatile guy.
3 yards gained in those, or any yards gained in those 3 categories?
Here is a handoff. Sterling Inslee cuts it back up inside, 45-50, cuts it back left side, 40. He may go 35-30, 25-20. He is chased down by Darian Royal, who catches him at the 12-yard line rather. And if it weren't for Royal back there, Sterling Inslee would have been gone. They're going to mark him down at the 13-yard line, so a big gain there from the other 45 all the way to the 13-yard line.
48-yard run there for Sterling Inslee.
A big gainer there, and that may have broken the back of McKinney as they really needed a big play themselves, not giving up a big play to Newman Smith. And I'll tell you what, how this team has lost 15 straight, I have no idea.
They look, especially with Inslee hitting on all cylinders, but yeah, you wonder with that huge offensive line, they're able to just get behind him, and as soon as he sees a hole, Inslee's able to run it out.
This is a Class 5A team, nonetheless. They are in District 10 5A with Berkner and Pierce and Creekview and all the other Carrollton schools. There's a man in motion. His counsel now. He'll go back outside. They're going to hand off inside to the backup quarterback, and that's Deidre Perkins, who's met very hard at the 10-yard line, but he's going to go ahead and gain 4 of his own. 6:42 and rolling here, and McKinney may be running out of time, and especially if Newman Smith is able to punch it in here.
Yeah, now we're at 6 minutes to go, and a little bit of change to add to that 6 minutes here. And right now, I tell you, if this is a touchdown, McKinney's got their work cut out for him.
It is 17-7 right now. Newman Smith on top. It is second down and 7. Inside McKinney's 10-yard line. This is going to be a handoff to Perkins. Not much doing there as he may have gotten to the 8-yard line. And I believe that's where they're going to spot him. So it'll be third down and 5.
Yeah, gain of 2 there from Perkins. On the 2 plays of this down set, he's got 5 yards, allowing the starter, Sterling Inslee, to catch his breath after that 48-yard gain, where he just ran out of steam coming down inside the 20.
8th play of the drive as Inslee is back in the ball game. They send a man in motion. That's Rose. Adam Jones is going to roll out right side, has a man, is busted. It was caught at the 4-yard line, and that's close to a first down. And I'm telling you what, Eddie Morgan, I believe, was the man who busted him over there. It might have been Jade Onawa, but I think it was Eddie Morgan really popped him at the 4.
That was a huge pop for 2 reasons. 1, it shows that the fight's not left this team, and 2, that kept him a yard short of the first down.
Eddie Morgan is kind of the Roy Williams back there at safety. He will really lay the wood down. And it is going to be 4th and 1.
And they're going for it.
5:02 left to go. They're trying to basically end this football game right here. 4th down and 1.
Gutsy
they
call.
are going to go for it. Jones, the quarterback, shotgun formation, 3 receivers. He's going to keep it left side. He's met at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if he has it. They're going to mark him. They're going to give a great spot down to the 2-yard line. And if that's going to be true with the spot, that's going to be a first down. And I tell you what, it's going to be very hard to overcome this. You're almost going to have some sort of a turnover here in order to stay in this football game with 4:42 and rolling here in the fourth quarter, down by 10.
Well, Jones needed 2 yards, or rather 1 yard, and he got 2. And I tell you, that's a gutsy call, because if you get a field goal in that situation, you have to score 2 touchdowns if you're McKinney. And if you turn it over, they only need a touchdown and a field goal to tie. Gutsy call.
Goal line defense for McKinney. And Newman Smith still in that shotgun formation. 3 receivers to the left. Jones going to keep it left side. Same play. And he is in for the touchdown. It is a 2-yard, 3-yard, actually 2.5-yard touchdown for Adam Jones. That may seal the deal for McKinney as they go down 23-7 momentarily awaiting the PAT from Clayton Teasdale. The PAT is blocked, and it's going to be picked up by Cates Keith at the 30. He could go. Kiss him goodbye. 40, 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. It's 2-point conversion time for McKinney. That'll put 2 points on the board. Now a 23-9 score.
All of a sudden, it's only 2 touchdowns, Monty. That was pretty huge.
That was a blocked PAT. Cates Keith picked it up, took it to the house. If only that would have happened when it was 6 points instead of 2. However, McKinney actually has points on the board and none by their offense tonight.
Don't underestimate that play because all right, I'll analyze it when we come back.
We'll take a quick timeout. 23-9, McKinney down. 4:17 left to go in the fourth. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Standridge Stadium in Carrollton, Texas. Monty Walker, along with Brandon Helms and Teddy Sappho. We're going to talk to Teddy momentarily as Newman Smith gets ready to tee it up here. And Clayton Teasdale, who just had the extra point blocked, will kick this pooch kick. And it will be high in the same spot towards Brett Anderson. And this time it's going to be taken by Wimbish, who comes up and fights through the 30, fights through the break side, to the near side 50, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. He had a seam. I tell you what, it was one shirt tackle away from going to the house.
Well, that's why I was so excited going to break for. That was a huge play for many reasons, that blocked extra point, because now it would have been 24-7, meaning you had to get more than 3 scores in some form or fashion, and to top it all off, returning it to the end zone makes it a 14-point game. You just need 2 touchdowns with no 2-point conversion attempts whatsoever, just for a clean tie. And then being such a long play, that's what they call a momentum play, and I think you saw right there with Wimbish that turned into a big play. Now they're starting inside Newman Smith territory. Huge play opportunity right now for McKinney.
They are, in fact, inside Newman Smith territory at the 48-yard line. This is Martinek, the quarterback, two men in the backfield. Handoff Wimbish, running left tackle, and is met immediately by Michael Volmar, and he gets up talking, and now a flag. And it wasn't Volmar, I believe. Volmar made the stop, unless I have – no, it was Greg Woods. Woods, the linebacker, 6'1", 215, tackled Chris Wimbish and then really kept on jawing and kept on mouthing, and that's going to be a personal foul against Newman Smith. Take it 15 yards.
I'm telling you right now, if you're McKinney, you're going woo, because this is the perfect opportunity for McKinney right now. You're looking at why Newman Smith might be on a 15-game winless streak because of self-implosions like this. They get a blocked PAT, return for a 2-point conversion. Now they don't know when to stop talking. They keep running their mouth, and it's a 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10 at the 35.
Clock's rolling, 3:47 on their own on the Newman Smith 35-yard line. This is Martinek throwing the home run ball down the field, and it is incomplete. Thrown out for Michael Peters, and about the 8-yard line, Peters went up for it and couldn't bring it down. It'll be 2nd down and 10. That stops the clock at 3:39.
You got to give credit to the coverage there. Richard Council and Ricky Jordan down there. Ricky Jordan doing the majority of the work from his free safety position. Perfect placement right in front of the receivers as the ball was coming down. Just basically knocked it out and prevented a reception from Peters there. And now it's 2nd and 10.
Well, it will be 2nd down and 10. 3 receivers all bunched up together on the near side. Martinek hands off. Now he's going to keep it, and he is really in trouble and down at the 40. Loss of 5 yards or 4 yards, probably back at the 40, at the 39-yard line. He probably should have handed off to Wimbish that time because it looked like Wimbish had a huge lane.
I don't know how Newman Smith is doing it, but they seem to know when Wimbish is not getting the ball, despite the majority of the offense being funneled through him.
3 receivers to the right. Martinek is in shotgun, rolling left this time. Instead of pitching it, he keeps it, and he goes nowhere. Up to the 40-yard line. It'll be 4th down, and McKinney had all that momentum in the world, and now they seem to be turning that momentum over. And let's talk down with Teddy Saffo. You know that momentum was a key factor, and now it seems to be drained. Teddy, talk about it.
Monty, I'll get it back to you once they get this play in.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy. 4th down and 15. As 3 receivers out right side. This is where Martinek wants to roll against the grain. He's a left-handed quarterback, comes up, sets and pumps and overthrows Michael Peters at the 25-yard line. So will turn things over to Newman Smith with 2:22 left to go. And for the first time since the first quarter, McKinney does not punt, but they turn the ball over on downs, and I think
well, they made the right decision.
Yeah.
And they only have 2 timeouts to work for here with 2:22 left in the 4th quarter.
The ball is at the 40-yard line. Newman Smith in their own territory, moving left to right towards the south end zone. Adam Jones, the quarterback, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. They'll probably keep it on the ground here, and they do. They hand off Inslee up the middle, slides for a gain of about 1 yard to the 41-yard line. And Sterling Inslee is giving McKinney about all he can handle. Really, it's not been a flashy night for Sterling Inslee.
Well, somehow he's got 21 carries for 126 yards, yet 48 of them came on one play. But you seem to think every time he touches the ball, it's going to be 5 yards or more.
A very big kid out there, but, you know, that offensive line, we talked about the mismatch, you know, on offense and defense for the offensive line for McKinney, which averages 229 pounds, and the defensive line for Newman Smith, which averages 246. We'll flip-flop that, and the Newman Smith offense averages 262 pounds. That is absolutely incredible. 262 up front for Newman Smith, and they're actually going against the McKinney defense, who averages nowhere near that.
Well, to put it in perspective, the smallest player in terms of poundage would be Tyler Hogue at 230. He's the 5'11 center who's a senior. And also on the left tackle side is David Wood at 6 foot, 230 pounds. He's also a senior. Those are the 2 lightest guys at 230. And then to top it all off for McKinney on the defensive line, their largest guy would be Justin Philippi at 225.
A minute 54 left to go in this football game. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for Newman Smith. They are leading this football game 23-9 here in Carrollton. And this is going to be a handoff. No, Jones is going to keep it. He is really buried at the line of scrimmage. Justin Philippi and Adam Fairborn came up and really nailed Adam Jones, the quarterback. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 9. 1:46 on the clock. McKinney calls a timeout. We'll take 1-2 back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for Newman Smith. They're going to fake the hand and a flag down. 1:44 left to go in this football game. 23-9, Newman Smith on top. But a flag down here, and it's going to be against Newman Smith. That'll stop the clock, which is good for McKinney, and it'll move the ball back deeper in Newman Smith territory, which is good for McKinney. However, somehow McKinney is going to have to score.
Say that 3 times fast. But, yeah, at some point, you know, you got to not put your head in the dirt like an ostrich. You just got to play forward, stop them, and if they can get something here, you never know. A good return, an onside kick, bring up the tired old cliche of the John Tyler state championship game of a while ago, 11 years ago now. And, anything can happen in 20 seconds of football game time.
Last week, Newman Smith lost to Greenville 43-30. And so they're able to put a lot of points on the board, as you could tell by last week's game. Their first game of the year, they lost to Bishop Lynch 22-13. So they're hanging in tight with these guys. They're not like they're world beaters or anything, but it's not like McKinney probably can't handle them if they just play their game.
Well, it's like I was talking about McKinney North last week. When you're a team that's as down as Newman Smith, sometimes the hardest thing to do is learn to win. And I tell you, as much adversity as Newman Smith faced at the end, it looks like they might be learning to win.
Well, they haven't won in 15 games, and they're en route to that right now. 1:46 to go. Richard Council gets the handoff, running far side. He's got the 40, cuts it up, 45, 50, and chased out of bounds by Cates Keith, but not after he picks up the first down in McKinney territory at the 47-yard line. 1st and 10, Newman Smith, 1:40 to go.
17-yard carry on the 3rd and 14.
1st and 10 Trojans at the McKinney.
And
to top it all off, he's thrown out of bounds too, so the clock will stop.
And the Newman Smith coaching staff to our right in the next booth over here is kind of packing up their stuff a little bit. They think they have it won, and why wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, with that first down and no timeouts left for McKinney, heck, all Newman Smith has to do is take a knee.
Well, a minute 40 to go, 23-9. Newman Smith on top, handoff up the middle. Sterling Inslee just padding his stats a little bit, but Casey Cooley says, no, you're not going to pad him too much. Gain of about a half yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
32 Sterling Inslee on the carry. By 87.
You can guarantee Newman Smith not going to get up easily, and that way the clock won't, the play clock rather, won't get started right away because they will start the play clock once the ball is set.
McKinney has no more timeouts left with 1:11 and rolling, and this game is just about all but over as we near the 1-minute mark. 2nd down and 9 as Adam Jones in shotgun will take it and hand it off Sterling Inslee, and boom, he is met behind the line of scrimmage. And he is met by Paul Wynn and also Adam Fairborn. Justin Philpy, I believe, were there.
Well, let's remember last year when Newman Smith went 10, that McKinney only beat him 8-5.
It was a struggle, and Brett Anderson had the lone score on a 73-yard touchdown. These two teams have played 2 really tough games the past 2 years. 3rd down and 9, 24 seconds to go, 4 seconds on the play clock, and they're just going to down it right here. And Newman Smith's 15-game losing streak is over. And McKinney can't be really happy about that, but I tell you what, the Newman Smith Trojans are acting like they just won the World Series on the near sideline over here.
Sometimes, like I said, you just got to learn to win, and you got to give credit to the Trojans on this one because, after that blocked PAT, after the 15-yard penalty, they could have tucked it in and say, here we go again, but they didn't.
We're going to take a quick timeout, be back in a moment, and try to get Coach Todd McVeigh to talk to us. Again, 23-9, Newman Smith wins it tonight. Back in a moment with McKinney High football on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Well, it is a very disgruntled McKinney Lions football team who goes to 0-3 tonight after this heartbreaking loss to Newman Smith. And Coach Todd McVeigh is talking to his team right now. And we will momentarily have Teddy Saffo trying to get a word with him, but it's a lot different than last year. Of course, 0-3 this year. At this same point last year, they were 2-1. They had lost to Wiley in what amounts to last week's game, 21-14. They had thumped Fort Worth Western Hills, which they did not do this year, and they had beaten Newman Smith in this game last year 8-5 on that Brett Anderson 73-yard run. Not tonight. Newman Smith wins 23-9.
Well, a couple of things stick out for me. To this point, or rather now in this season, they came in